Ladies and gentlemen, the talented Connor McSpadden, everybody.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Tucson. Keep that applause going for young Joseph. You are really making the 9-hour drive in the Prius worth it tonight. I do drive a Prius because I'm an alpha male, among other reasons. Got the car because I had a big tour planned all through the American South, and I thought that's a long way. I'll get a hybrid car, save on the gas. Found out that when you drive a Prius through the South, the folks there look at you like you're driving the black dick into a veteran's mouth. They really do. They hate you so much. Commands no respect on their roads, and why would it? The Prius doesn't even honk. When you press the steering wheel, it just goes, "Excuse me." Sorry, I'm trying to merge. I will say it's a surprisingly powerful vehicle. You probably didn't know that motor under the hood actually has 250 electric toothbrushes. It's great. This thing goes from 0 to 60 eventually. I love it. My favorite feature is that it's a hybrid car, so it has 2 engines, electric and gas, each shittier than the last. Because of this, the whole car weighs a lot. So every time you have to take it up a hill or a gentle slope or a 2-degree incline, the whole vehicle just shakes uncontrollably and makes an angry noise like a nerd that's about to get into an argument. You know what I mean? It's like, the book was better! Ghostbusters should be men! I need something new because for a few years before that, I was rolling around in an honest-to-God PT Cruiser. Are we familiar, gang? That was like driving a fanny pack. It was ridiculous. Should come with a Jason Mraz CD and a divorce when you buy it, really. It's pathetic. I mean, it's the kind of car that sends a message, but it sends it from an AOL email address because it's old and lame. And I lost that car driving on the 101 South in Los Angeles where my red PT Cruiser was hit and destroyed by a blue PT Cruiser. Now, I know what you're thinking, but this did not create a purple PT Cruiser like I had hoped. Although it did look like the Bloods and the Crips had some weird Guy Fieri division. I know you guys just got legal weed out here in Arizona. I'm happy for you, but I come from California with a message from the future. We've had it a couple years, and there's no free lunch in nature. You can't feel amazing whenever you want for $20 and there's no side effects. That's gonna catch up to you at some point. I feel a little trepidation. I'll give you an example. I saw a GoFundMe page for a woman trying to get together $800 to get her forehead tattoo, big block, old English letters of 420 lasered off. And I saw that and I was like, $800, couldn't you just grow bangs? You know what I mean? It's free, it covers it up. I think it's a better solution because then you can roll up to a party looking classy. No one can tell you just got fired from Hot Topic. And then later on in the night, someone's like, "Hey, Stacy, you want to do a bong rip?" You just be like, "I don't know, you tell me." Right? You got options like ready to work, ready to twerk. Bangs, gang bangs. You just turn it on and off like a white trash light switch. Because it's not all innocent, like the first time you smoked pot in high school. It gets darker. I remember my first time smoking pot. I was on the horse trails in Chino. Made the mistake of going out with my buddies to a public place where I sneezed, and then nobody in the room said, "Bless you." And I thought I was a ghost for about 20 minutes. I was like, I knew it was possible to overdose from this shit. I'm a ghost right now. Do not call my mom. My older buddy James was like, "Con, man, you're gonna be fine. Just do the bad breath test before you go home to your parents, make sure you're straight." Apparently, the test to see if you have weed breath is you lick your hand, you wait for that spit to dry, then you smell it. If it still smells like weed, you've got weed breath. And I was like, I feel like if we're trying to not get caught doing drugs, the way to go about it is not act like a cat and then look around suspiciously. Yes, good. I'm ready for Sunday dinner with Grandma. I've gotten to the point where I think I would rather that my kid came to me with a meth problem than a weed problem. Because the meth problem is extreme. You gotta address that, you gotta fix it, and you get some perspective about your life and a bunch of funny stories. It's like it never happened. I feel like everyone here is like, well, not for my cousin, Connor, jeez. I mean, you can't tell me that meth heads don't know real world skills like where to find unattended copper wiring late at night, or what parking lots you're allowed to sleep in, where to find a lawyer you can pay in aluminum cans. And if you've ever talked to a crackhead, like actually sat down and had a one-on-one conversation, oh my God, make a pot of coffee and pull up a chair. You're about to binge watch the best Netflix original series that is never getting made. They'll be like, yeah, and the third time I got kicked out of the Air Force. Okay, how'd you get back in twice? You gotta tell me everything. That sounds baller. Because let me just say, I think that weed will ruin your life like a hard drug. I just think it does it so gradually you don't notice that it's happening. But you probably have friends like this. If you just smoke pot all day, every day, your stories suck. They all take place on the same couch. There's no point to any of them. They're all just like, oh, you remember the time Brian said potatoes wrong? And it's like, buddy, nobody gives a shit. Brian forgot. You've wasted your whole life. I just try to game this stuff out to the natural conclusion. What's your worst case scenario, right? Smoke meth, blackout, wake up. Oh, fuck, I smoked meth and I blacked out. And when I woke up, I'd fucked a guy in a Greyhound bus for $6 in a Parliament. It's not that bad. You can walk that off. A little therapy, good as new. But if you smoke pot, you're gonna smoke pot and black out and wake up and be like, oh, fuck, I smoked pot and I blacked out, and when I woke up, I'd been working at GameStop for like 15 years. Oh no, and I'm still not assistant manager. Oh, that's right, because I fucked up my GPA at community college when I took that edible before my art history class, and none of my friends even come over to the apartment to hang out anymore because Sarah dumped me and she was the one who had the Xbox One and the HBO Go password from her parents. And finally, you'll work up the nerve to kill yourself and do one more bong rip for the road and just be like, potatoes, Brian, you dildo. And your life's not gonna improve. I've gotten to the point where I'm such an everyday smoker that my psychiatrist actually told me I need to switch to CBD. We familiar with CBD? Basically diet weed. It really is. It's got all the wholesome parts of weed that old people like. It's good for the swelling, and it lowers the blood pressure, it smooths out your anxiety, but doesn't have any of that sketchy stuff that makes you all hungry and horny and stupid. It's a miracle drug, frankly, and I'm like, if we can do this for weed, why don't we have CBD for every drug? Why can't I drink a CBD beer and drink one and go talk to chicks and then fuck them with a dick that still works perfectly fine? Wouldn't that be cool? Why not spark up a big old bowl of CBD meth? Stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning building a treehouse for your kids out of shit you found in the garage, but then you keep custody of those kids so they can play in that treehouse. How about some CBD mushrooms where you go to Coachella Music Festival and you eat the whole bag and you find peace with God and the universe and you forgive your dad and then you shut the fuck up about it at parties because nobody cares. Yeah, it's not a good story unless you're shit-faced and watching Arcade Fire. It's really not. I-O. Mushrooms are a hell of a drug, and I know this because I've told 2 women I was dating I love you for the first time while I was on mushrooms, only to discover a mere hours later that I just loved mushrooms. And I should have known. I've traveled all over the country doing comedy. I've seen all the great museums, all the great paintings and sculptures, and let me tell you, they all pale in comparison to the 99-cent store on mushrooms. I looked into the air bubble in a bottle of Grape Fabuloso cleaning solution like it was the eye of God as it answered all my questions about the universe. Like, oh, fuck, I guess my parents screwed me up, but they were just doing the best that they could with how their parents raised them, and I can get this whole fucking bottle for 99 cents. Are you shitting me? Why do we do drugs in the first place? We gotta self-medicate our other issues. Right? I'm fucking bipolar 1. I'm fucking crazy half the time, lazy half the time. Mostly just sitting around depressed as fuck. You guys have been depressed before. You know it though. You know when your brain is leaving YouTube comments on your soul? And you wake up and you're like, oh, I feel happy today. Gay. Oh, thanks, depression. I forgot. I am pretty gay. I knew that depression, if you feel depressed, don't try to tell yourself that's not real. That's a real thing. You gotta figure that out. And I knew depression was real when I did cocaine off of a butt. And the experience was like a 7 out of 10 at best. Do you know how fucked up that is when the two biggest sources of dopamine in the known universe, cocaine and butt cheeks, are about as good as a night out at Red Robin Burger? It's not great. Believe it or not, gang, I got my start as a comic on the Black and Mexican circuit in Southern California. One of my first times on stage, I got heckled by a cholo wearing an eye patch. How terrifying is that? I was just like, wow, dude, you don't just like the Raiders, you are one. This is serious. Grew up in a Mexican neighborhood, living there, I developed a theory on why a lot of Latin folks are Catholics and Raiders fans. I think it's because both things were great a really long time ago and you're waiting for them to come back and save you someday. All right, I need someone from this half of the room to walk me to my car for the people on this half of the room. Because I feel I may have offended a few members of the Raider Nation, and I have some issues with their foreign policy. I've always liked to talk about race in my act. I try to talk about racist stuff. I try to talk about cultural stuff. I think there's a difference. I'll give you an example. Like, it's racist to say that all black people like watermelon, but unless you know Mexican culture, you won't know that if you put salt on that watermelon, it is fucking delicious. Right? There's a white guy. You've had tajin on a watermelon before? Bro, doesn't that shit taste like Sofia Vergara's pussy? It's fantastic. I know she's Colombian, that's not the point. People say Mexican people are lazy. Whoever said that has never made tamales before. Holy shit, is that time consuming. Right? Some of you, the Mexicans, though, you gotta start that operation on Halloween to get done by Christmas Eve. It's ridiculous. There's no point in living in a melting pot country like America if you don't appreciate what other cultures do. I was hanging out with 4 Arab guys after the show, and Arab guys and only Arab guys do this thing that I love, where when they can't remember a word, they have to like smell it into them to jog their memory. They'll be like, buddy, I saw your show. You did a joke about Prius. So funny. The Prius joke. It's like he keeps his whole vocabulary like floating around in the air, like trapped in his cologne, I guess. And when he needs a big $5 word, he just wafts it up like, I couldn't believe the serendipity. Grew up in a bad neighborhood. And I feel comfortable saying that because one year we got robbed on Christmas Eve. Right? How you like that shit? The ghetto Grinch comes in, takes all your presents. Now, I think this is quite funny as time has gone on because I realized that all the hood rats, gangbangers, drug, whoever the fuck robbed us in the hood, all they got was little 10-year-old Connor McSpadden's nerdy, punk-ass bitch, white kid presents. This is what they got for me. I'm not making any of these up. They got my chemistry set, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and a Weird Al Yankovic CD, gang. Fuck yeah. So I like to imagine that because of me, some little vato had the worst Christmas of all time. He's like, Harry Potter, papa, I don't like wizards or reading. You fucked up. And these songs all sound like the songs on the radio, but this dork-ass white guy with an accordion changed the words, made them corny. He's like, listen, just give the chemistry set to Uncle Rico. He'll make us some meth. Maybe next year we can buy you some good presents. I don't know what to tell you. Lo siento, Pablo. Best friend growing up in Ontario was a little black kid named Jamaal Johnson. And I know with a name like Jamaal Johnson, it sounds like I'm making up a fake black friend. It really does. If you ask Mitt Romney, quick, Mitt, name one of your black friends, he'd be like, Jamaal Johnson and I go way back. Of course. I ran into him a few years out of high school, and I was like, oh, what's up, man? You looking buff. He's like, yeah, I'm going to 24-hour fitness. I'm like, really? I've been thinking about getting the membership. How much is it? I kind of want to sign up. And I swear to God, Jamaal was like, oh, bro, I don't have a membership. I just wait for a big group of black dudes to walk in, and then I just blend in with them. And I didn't even know they had an Underground Railroad option at the 24-hour fitness, where you can literally stay in shape the same way fish avoid predators, like stick together, keep moving, just keep swimming. I was jealous, because I don't think we could, it's not gonna work. The only place you could do that move as a white guy is maybe like a Sam's Club. Right, you wait for that big Mormon family to pass by. I'm with the Huckabees, fucker, don't worry about it. Now, my oldest black friend, Jamaal Johnson, sounds made up for two reasons, because he's also a professional rapper. You guys have probably heard of him, actually. Cali Stax had that big song, Bless the Bottle. I didn't say he was a famous rapper, but he's a professional rapper. A few years ago, he got shot in the stomach. I was terrified. I called him up in the hospital after I found out he's gonna be okay. I had a little heart-to-heart with him, because I've known him since he's 5 years old. I was like, dude, you're not a gangbanger, you're not a criminal. Don't hang out with people that are getting shot up for no reason. You got a lot more music to make, bitches to fuck, life to live. Be careful, I love you. And Jamaal, cocky as ever, rapper to his core, he was like, you know what, man? Even if I die, I'll be up in heaven. More people will be exposed to my music. And I was like, Jamaal, I've heard all your music, it's great. It's all about getting shit-faced and fucking random women. I feel like if you want to go to heaven, you're gonna have to wait for a bunch of good people to walk in and then just blend in with them. What the fuck are you looking at, St. Peter? You're racist. You're racist, St. Peter. I got the fucking Catholic school kids with that one. You like that? That's the guy at the fucking, he's like the door guy for heaven, yeah. I do my best to be a tolerant guy. I think I had a big advantage growing up in the mixed community, but I think if I'm being honest with you folks, there's one area of life where I might be just a little bit racist. And I don't, you made me feel comfortable enough to admit this, but I think if my daughter brought home a black guy, I would just be so worried about impressing that black guy. Oh, fuck, this guy's so cool. Oh, I want him to like me so bad. He'd open the door and I'd be like, okay, shit, handshake or fist bump? Handshake or fist bump? Oh, god damn it, I switched halfway through. That's the whitest possible move. Fuck. Every time a white guy messes up a fist bump with a black dude, an albino baby is born. I don't know if you guys knew that. Actually having a black son-in-law, my daughter dating a black guy, I think that would be awesome. I love black culture, black music, black everything, and I might get a black grandson out of the deal. How sick would that be? White grandpa, black grandson. I could feel his hair, say it's because I love him, not just because I'm secretly curious. Oh my God, it's like a boob made of sponge cake. This is fucking... How did you do that? I could take him to the mall and act all suspicious so people would think I stole him. And as soon as someone called me out, I pull out my DNA paperwork like, how dare you judge us, sir? This family's the future. We can name him something that's kind of white and kind of black, like Toblerone, I don't know. I would definitely not try to black it up if I had a black son-in-law come over. I think that's a bad move. I dated Mexican girls, they never did that for me. I never went over to their house and like, all right, Connor, we're having ceviche, but we made you a peanut butter and jelly on a Batman plate. Here's an IPA and a Friends DVD for a coaster. I would go white as possible. I'd let him know what he's getting into. I wouldn't want to, any false pretense, sucker him into some bad deal. I'd open the door with Kenny Loggins on the hi-fi, wearing all khaki everything, 3 shitty casseroles for dinner, the whole evening, just no rhythm, no flavor. Your kid's gonna be born with allergies. Welcome to the family. Everyone here familiar with Digiorno Pizza? Good, okay, a few of you have been divorced, I'm glad. Doesn't Digiorno kind of sound like a black lady saying, did y'all know? Right, like, did y'all know this pizza is terrible? Did y'all know that ain't delivery? All right, I'm detecting some pockets of white nervousness, but I dare you to go to the frozen foods aisle and not look bigoted. You'd be like, oh, Digiorno? They got a Digiorno in thin crust now? This is about to be my jam. I try to be careful making these, racial jokes, these messed up jokes. I really don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I think it's only actually happened twice in my career. First time it happened, I was at a gay bar. Doing a show, started getting heckled by this black guy wearing a fedora and a gold chain. So finally I just said, you look like the DJ for Run HIV. I thought it was a pretty good line. He didn't really agree because he stood up and said, fuck you, I just got diagnosed as HIV positive. You're a terrible comedian, get off the stage. And the only thing I could think to say was, well, at least your attitude's still pretty HIV negative. Second time, this is... I love this old white property owner going, oh my God, you did it again, you idiot? What? Never invite your dad to your show. That's my advice. I'll tell you what happened. It was a great story. I was hanging out with my black friend Bruce and my midget friend Brad. You know it's going to be a great story because it has a great cast of characters. It was after a show and Bruce said to Brad, you know, black people and midgets have a lot in common. And I jumped in and said, yeah, you guys are both 3/5 a person, right? All right, that's a good joke. If you're not laughing at that joke, you hate Christmas and America and apple pie and wet pussy and your own mother. That's just a lot of fun. I was rolling on the ground laughing. Bruce was rolling on the ground laughing. Brad was rolling on the ground. Well, he calls it the ceiling, but he was rolling on it. And he was laughing. The next morning, Twitter was hot at the time. I tweeted the joke out of context, and I was canceled immediately. There was a ton of black comics that were mad. They're like, this guy's a menace. We gotta kick this guy out of the comedy scene. We can't have this shit. And there was even a few midgets that were upset too. But only a few, because it's a much smaller community. But they were out for blood, like, cut off his shins, one of us, one of us, one of us. And I was like, this is all getting a little extreme. There has to be some kind of 3/5 compromise here. I think the worst racial faux pas of my life, I hate to tell you, actually came when I was lucky enough to have a date with a beautiful black woman. Her name was Tierra, which is a lovely name. That means Black Sierra, if you didn't know. And I gotta be honest with you guys, when I'm on a date with a beautiful black woman, I have one thought in my head. It's a very anxious thought, and the thought is this. I don't want to be the reason that she thinks white guys suck at sex. Right? I don't want to let down the home team. I want to be one of the good ones. I'd hate to be eating her pussy and have her be like, no, that's my belly button. Turn around, young man, you are lost. The day was going good. I felt like I was showing her a good time, making her feel special. We're out in Culver City. She was there for work. She works for a big makeup company, always wear a big, beautiful face makeup. And we got back to the hotel she was staying at. It's a historic 100-year-old hotel. Big, fancy old La La Land dining room in the lobby, and all these fuddy-duddy old white people that had probably been eating there since interracial dating was illegal. It was kind of a flex when we walked in. And we got back to our room, and I'll level with you folks. White guys fuck much the same way we play basketball. We're not technically great, but we have good hustle. You know, we set screens, we gobble up rebounds, we eat ass, call you the next day. The lost art of fundamentals. So old Larry Bird here is working the paint, giving her everything I got. I have a terrible realization. I've left all of my condoms in the glove compartment of my Toyota Prius. And I'm like, shit, I can't have unprotected sex with this black woman, all Thomas Jefferson style. That would be rude. That would be very rude. So I said, baby, I'm so sorry. I gotta run to the car, get the condoms. I ran down to the Prius, hustled back into the lobby, and as I walked back into that lobby, every old person in there had their stink eyes out, and they were trained on me. They were looking at me like I was a piece of shit. I had no idea why. I thought it was because I'd come in with the black woman. I'd never experienced real racism before. I couldn't believe these people were just hating me because of the color of my partner's skin. It was really mind-blowing. I had a thought, I wish I could give every one of you bigots a little piece of my mind, but if you'll excuse me, this civil rights hero has some black pussy to eat. Floor 12, please. Just then, the elevator doors closed in front of me, and I saw in my reflection that all of her foundation had rubbed off on my lily white face. And I was now in full-blown Justin Trudeau at the Christmas party. Amos and Andy, you ain't dating no daughter of mine, blackface. Oh my God. It looked like they tried to make the movie Tropic Thunder, but they only had $30. It was a disaster. I got back to the room, I knocked on the door. She opened it up, and I hate to tell you this, gang, she kicked me out. Yeah, like most black women, she doesn't fuck black guys, so I was shit out of luck. I'm kidding. I fucked her doing a Ray Charles impression, and we had a great time. Vagina, my whole day through, the whole day through, just an old sweet dong. Oh, that was all improv, but I don't care how much fun you had. I love Ray Charles. Oh, criminy. Do you believe in white privilege, sir? What do you think? If, looking at you, you seem like the lab rat that they tested white privilege on. And it was such a resounding success, they were like, we gotta lower the dosage. So you do believe in white privilege. I was talking to another white guy about this recently at one of our secret meetings. And he had a take I hear pretty often, which is, you know what, man? I don't believe in this whole white privilege business. I didn't choose to be white. And I was just sitting there like, but you would have. You definitely would have. If you got to pick what race you were before you were born, like community college classes, being white is pottery 101. It's not that hard. Being a white dude in particular, that's like playing the tutorial level of the video game of life. Right? If you screw up, you go right back where you started. No big deal. It's mapped out very clearly where you need to go. There's all these little helpers scattered around in case you get stuck. You guys probably call them police officers, but they're there. I found that as time goes on, white people have to find more and more creative ways of being racist. Like I saw a guy I went to high school with right on the internet the other day that actually I can say the N-word because Irish people were slaves too. And I was like, ooh, it's about to be an eventful day on Hometown Facebook. Let's dig into the comments, shall we? And it turns out he's talking about indentured servitude. Not really the same thing as slavery, but I was pretty sure based on my horse sense that my people, my name's Connor McSpadden. My parents could just name me Potato McDrinking Problem. And it would be a lateral move. And I felt that I knew intuitively that my people had never been slaves for a couple reasons. Number one, because Irish music is not that soulful. I mean, I feel like if I was oppressed at any point in history, I might be able to clap on beat to any song without having to copy the nearest black guy to make sure I'm on 2 and 4 and not 1 and 3. I mean, if you lose all black music, that's jazz and hip hop and rock and roll and every subgenre that came out of it. It's the whole American songbook gone. You lose all Irish music, it's like U2 and the 2 good songs by the Cranberries. Who gives a shit? That just makes karaoke night better. And the second reason I think that I was pretty sure Irish people had never been slaves is just because we'd be terrible slaves. I mean, look at me. Do I seem cut out for the outdoors and hard work? If you put an Irishman in the sun, it's like putting a tuxedo in the washing machine. It's destroyed. I'm not making sweeping generalizations about my people, all right? I've actually been to Ireland. I made the pilgrimage to white Africa, and what it is about 4.5 million lazy pieces of shit doing the bare minimum to keep the liquor industry afloat. It's just a cold, wet rock that acts as a retirement home for livers. There's no ambition. We don't overcome things. And we came to America, not because we were enslaved, just because we had a little something called the potato famine. You guys remember that? That's where everybody in Ireland sucked at farming so bad, they ruined the soil and had to move to a whole different hemisphere of the earth. Are these the folks you want working on your plantations? Growing your crops? That's like importing a bunch of Mexicans to make your party quieter. It just doesn't add up logistically. I've never been to a good party that was quiet. I'm not talking shit. Is anyone in here in an interracial relationship? All right. 3 woos, the rest of you stick in your own teams. Prison rules. The man-to-man defense. I get it. You clapped. Is this your beautiful wife here? This is your mom. Okay, I was about to say Swedish and Polish doesn't count. How sheltered are you here? What kind of wife you got? What flavor? Just realized I didn't know how to ask that question. I'm asking you like it's a vape bar, like Blue Raz Ice or Sour Apple. Where you go? Chinese. Well, bring her next time. I'll do my Asian stuff. I don't have a quorum here. I saw enough Mexican and black people, but I was just, no, we need at least 3, or else we're just laughing at them, not with them. I always liked an interracial girlfriend more than a white girlfriend, because when you date outside your race and you meet their family, oh, the food is different, the conversations are different, they're from different countries, there's different music playing, different languages. It's all very exciting, it's very stimulating. It feels like you're part of a whole new family. When you date someone of your own race, it's more like they just added a bunch of shitty people to your existing family. Like, oh, I got 12 new cousins. Thanks, white girlfriend. I gotta learn your fucking names. Hi, Sierra. Hi, Spencer. Oh, you're in accounting? Fascinating. I started playing a game when I was at my Mexican girlfriend's house growing up. You guys can try this anytime you visit a Latin friend's house. The game's very easy. It's super fun. It's self-explanatory. It's called Count the Jesuses. It's a good time. Right, like Jesus on the rug, Jesus throw pillow, Jesus shot glass, there's a Jesus tattooed on grandma's neck, bake Jesus into a cake, statue of Jesus on the front lawn, there's a Virgin Mary, that counts for 2, Jesus shower curtain, Jesus coloring book, Jesus cookie jar, and your brother Jesus. Wow, 15 Jesuses. It's not bad. Y'all are really repping for Cristo, Martinez family. Oh. You're my favorite laugher. No offense to the rest of you. Doesn't it sound like you walked past a Halloween witch with a motion sensor? Only take 1 Reese's peanut butter cup, you greedy fuck. Damn, I just remembered I had a girlfriend last time I came here. It's okay. It was, my last relationship ended in a mutual breakup, which if you don't know is where the girl wants to break up and the guy pretends he does too so doesn't look like a little bitch. And what's always been tough for me about the breakup is if I'm with the girl, I get so excited to share my favorite things in life with her, right? Introduce this person I love to all my favorite movies and songs and HPV and like restaurants that I go to. But then you break up and all those things are ruined for you because you associate them with someone that broke your heart. You can't enjoy any of it. You'll be out with a new girl at the bar and some song comes, oh my God, I love this song. You're like, yeah, a lot of evil whores like that song. What's that debit card? Wells Fargo, the bank of the devil? I know it sounds harsh, but I also know that everyone in here knows exactly what kind of car your ex drove, and when you see one on the freeway, you have a Vietnam flashback. And you're just like, Kelly, what are you doing in Arizona? Turn on your hazard lights before you fuck up someone else's life. I've gotten to a point where I've resolved the next relationship I'm in, we're only doing shitty things together. I'm not risking it. She'd be like, yeah, he's a really nice guy, but he always takes me to Burger King and listens to Puddle of Mud. It's weird. I had a gal on one of the apps ask me if I want to go see the new Marvel movie. I had this new policy, so I just had to be like, nah, bitch. I like Marvel movies. I intend to keep it that way. I'll tell you what, there are 6 Rob Schneider films streaming on Netflix right now. If we can make it through 3 of those, I might go see Ant-Man. You gotta earn my trust. Oh, okay, you wanna fuck in the shower and listen to the Pixies? No, thank you, madam. That's a good band, that's a good place to fuck. How about Daddy puts on the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie soundtrack while he eats your pussy in the garage? And that sheet of cardboard I used to change my oil. And maybe, if you can finish, we got the foundations of a relationship here, Toots. I'm not getting hurt again. Thank you, I am running for president. I'll actually tell you why I do comedy. The only reason I do comedy is because there's an outside chance that at one of these shows, I'm going to meet the big, beautiful woman that I'll spend the rest of my life with. I love the BBWs. It stands for Big Beautiful Woman. I think it should stand for Bub-Bam Wienerlicious, because that's what they are. I'm not trying to pander. I'm not trying to fetishize. I'm not looking for brownie points unless they're on your Weight Watchers card. They're hot. They're hot. A lot of guys like a nice Coke bottle figure. Not me. 2-liter bottle of Coke, baby. Yeah, with those 4 weird lumps on the bottom to keep her from falling over. Give me a drink. Daddy's thirsty. And I get profiled quite a bit, as you might expect. People go, oh, Connor, you're a tall, skinny guy. You must want to fuck tall, skinny chicks. And I'm like, I don't want to fuck me, dummy. I hate myself. And by the way, yeah, 2 cold people elbowing each other in the ribs. Who's horny? Not me. I fucked a 6-foot-tall girl in my car one time. We looked like a praying mantis stuck in a light bulb. It wasn't fun. There wasn't any coming going on. It was all elbows and right angles and knees and shit. And this is no shade whatsoever to the petite gals in the audience, but I'm sorry, it's simple math. If you're 5'2" and 100 pounds, you can explore your whole body relatively quickly. It's like mapping Rhode Island. It doesn't take that long. But when you're dating a big woman, there is always something new to discover. Their bodies are always changing like a hillside after a long rain. You'll be with her 9 months and one night be like, oh shit, girl, you got a whole other knee in here. How did you do that? We're gonna get to this after I fuck your arm pussy, young lady. That's a good one, a little elbow snatch. That's a baklava or tiramisu tier delicacy. I don't even know why I gotta tell these jokes. This should be common knowledge. There are so many things to like about fat women. You can eat their pussy and have leftovers. That's pretty cool. Bring a Tupperware, kids. You're not gonna finish it all in one go. Big gals get way wetter than skinny girls. Way wetter. Is that thigh sweat? I don't know. I don't care. Mama taught me not to look a gift flap in the mouth. I mean, motherfucker, do you want to fondle some titties, or do you want to Scrooge McDuck dive into some titties and luxuriate in a jacuzzi of flesh? I date big women because I'm a skinny guy. You know what I don't do at 6'4" and 165 pounds? Retain body heat. A fat girlfriend is the best electric blanket that money can buy. Luke Skywalker needs a tauntaun for the winter. Without fat women, gang, riddle me this. Who would sit on my dirty little face? It's a tough job. Someone's got to do it. And it doesn't get much better than the big, beautiful woman sitting on your face. I call it the poor man's sensory deprivation tank. Because that's what it is. Eat your heart out, Joe Rogan. 300 pounds of sweaty ass really overwhelms the senses, brings you into the present nirvana. And when you're underneath, you're not thinking about Jeffrey Epstein or the corporations that control the government. You're just thinking about survival. Like, how long was I out? What year is it? Put me back. Ain't I a stinker? Hey, I appreciate that applause break and I'll take it, but this joke about fat girls isn't even over. I have more to say. Like, would you people believe that one time Connor McSpadden paid $500 American to have sex for a half an hour with a BBW porn star? Now, I understand that might sound like a lot of money until I show you the price per pound. Because you can't even get chicken for $2 a pound. That's the deal. All right, I can see some of you doing the math and thinking, I can find me a skinny blonde bimbo with big old titty balls and a big fat butt sack to slob on my Tucson knob for $500 for half an hour. And I bet you could if you want to pay salmon prices. Not me. I'll be where the cankles and the bargains are. You don't really get to choose who goes for you. You can choose who you go for. I can go hit on all the BBWs I want to, but the only girl that would ever want to have casual sex with me was someone who wanted a little rough trade, a little smacking around, a little rough stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I was thinking for years and years, like, am I some kind of secret serial killer and I don't know it? Why is this happening? But I think I've put the connection together. I think it's because a girl who likes rough sex, knows that about herself, go out to a bar, see a guy like me, kind of look at me, size me up physically, and be like, you know what, if it came down to it, I could probably take him. You're not asking some corn-fed football quarterback to be rough with you. That'll go off the rails and then badly. But she's like, oh yeah, this old Navy cashier, I got this shit. I don't mind a little spanking. I think spanking's a good time at the movies. But I do think the worst feeling in sex, of all of it, worse than losing the boner, worse than getting anything, is going in for the nice, crispy smack. But you miscalculate your trajectories. You hit the wrong part of the butt, and you get that heartbreaking thud instead. Going in for whoosh, but you just get... You want to leave a cool pink handprint instead of an awkward purple wrist-shaped bruise. Now, every time this woman gets dressed in front of her full-length mirror, she's gonna be like, oh yeah, that's right, I fucked a guy with no hand-eye coordination. I gotta get my shit together. I stopped even participating in it after a show at the Ontario Improv when a woman wanted me to hit her in the face. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't mind role-playing, but do I have to be R. Kelly? But she was hot, and I'm a people pleaser, so one thing led to another. She was so excited she had some fucking schmuck on the hook for this. She was sitting there, like, eyes closed, all smiling in anticipation, like, yeah, just go for it. Just hit me in the face, treat me dirty. And I'm freaking the fuck out. I didn't know, I'm just kind of like patting her face. Like I look like a little kid trying to wake his mom up. Like after a drug overdose. Like, Mommy, get up, Mommy. The Motel 6 people said we had to leave an hour ago. It's Christmas, Mommy, wake up. She started to get frustrated with this, so I think she was trying to get in my head, because I'll never forget what she said. It was very hurtful. She was just like, ugh. You white boys are always so fucking afraid. I was like, well, I don't appreciate all this racism, bitch. Pulled out my inner NFL player. Floyd Mayweather was my spirit animal. I went from good Christian boy to bitch better have my money immediately. I wasn't gonna take that shit, not in my car. That is very rude. Extremely rude. You're a guest in the PT Cruiser. How about you take off your shoes, show a little respect in Daddy's house? And after like 2 or 3 good ones, she's like, yeah, that's better. I started looking at my hand over here, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, YOLO, backhand. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing comedy since I was 16 years old. I used to have to get black X's on my hands before I go into the bar, which is great for picking up chicks, if you were wondering. It's kind of like the bouncer crosses you off before you walk in, like, no pussy for him, thanks. He's got homework. Go get him, slugger. I was still killing it. My parents live with me in this house that they own. Eventually, I got out on the road, and it was so exciting, right? You know, I was like, oh, man, I'm a big rock star in Tucson. I'm going to sleep with some random sad lady. First time I came out here, when I was about 23, hooked up with a 38-year-old woman. So it was a little weird at first. She's old enough to be my mother in Pakistan, but we had a good time. And some of the more immature audience members might call a gal like that a cougar. I just called her sex mommy. I don't know. She was definitely very predatory, like a cougar. She's the one who came on to me. She knew what she was doing. She had snacks in her purse. She had a game plan. this woman. Capri Suns, orange slices, all my after soccer practice favorites. Even a couple graham crackers in a Ziploc with some peanut butter for dipping. It was premeditated. And older women, I mean, they know themselves, they know what they want, they especially know what they want from you. It's a whole different, you don't realize there's 42 years of muscle memory in that pussy. Just doing shit mathematically, unconsciously that you couldn't postulate in your wildest dreams. Like, the only way I can describe having sex with a woman in her late 30s, early 40s, if you haven't done it, is it feels like your penis is getting in on a really good going out of business sale. You gotta look for that sign by the freeway that says, "Everything must go in my ass." Pull over, the deals are unbeatable. I should have known she was a mom when I fucked her. I didn't know until the next morning, but I should have known she was a mom because the way she fucked me was very motherly. It was very nurturing. She breastfed me after. It was healing is what it was. It reminded me of being a kid and making a peanut butter and jelly, but you don't have enough peanut butter. And you're like, oh shit, I did the jelly and I can't fit. Mom, we're all out of peanut butter. And your mom would come down the stairs and look at the jar and go, we're not out of peanut butter. She'd scrape the walls of the jar, right? Get into the nooks and crannies. If you're not laughing, you've never been poor. And she'd magically produce another sandwich out of the excess. She did the sexual version of this. We got to round 4, and I was just laying in bed completely drained, like, hey, I don't think I got any more dick. I think I'm all out of dick. And she just looked down at me like, we're not out of dick, you idiot. There's plenty of perfectly good dick right here. You were gonna throw this out? Shame on you. There are kids starving for dick in Africa. How dare you, young man? She had her tubes tied. It was a tremendous night. I thought that this was going to go in my scrapbook of spank bank memories forever until the next morning, and I'm not making this up, we had to have breakfast with her 2 children. Yeah, gang, 2 beautiful little girls, ages 16 and 18. And God bless them, the little tykes had some tough questions for their new dad at the breakfast table. Now, to be fair to them, all questions are tough questions when you just fucked somebody's mom. That's what I found out. Not a lot of softballs in an interview. Hey, Connor, how's the food taste? Well, nothing like your mom's ass, I'll tell you that right now. Not a lick. Finally, the younger of the 2 girls, the 16-year-old, very precocious. She looks up at me and goes, so, where were you last night? Perfectly innocent question, but I can't answer truthfully. And even worse, I felt like I had to hold back all my stand-up comedian impulses because what I wanted to say was, well, in a weird way, girls, I was kind of hanging out in your old 1-bedroom apartment, wasn't I? It's nice. It got a lot bigger after you guys moved out. You should see what they done with the place. They took a couple walls down and they put that carpeting from the 80s back in. All right, listen, if you don't like that joke, you're immature, and I'm going to tell you why. Because hairy vaginas are an acquired taste. That's something you appreciate when you get a little salt and pepper in your beard. You don't like a Barbie smooth vagina, do you? You like a little grass in the field. Well, you're gonna play ball on a dirt field. What is this, Mexico? No. It's a complex flavor, like coffee. If you gave a little kid a cup of coffee, he'd be like, "Puh, that is dark and bitter and disgusting. Why would you drink that?" Show a little kid a picture of a hairy vagina, he'd be like, "Ugh, that is dark and bitter and disgusting. Why would you put that in your mouth?" But when you get a little older, with both things, you just like, that's the stuff. Right there. That is how I want to start my morning, strong and black. That is like I'm eating Colin Kaepernick's pussy. I feel empowered. I was the kind of guy in my 20s where if I would have casual sex, just because that was the only way I could get motivated to clean my room. If it wasn't about sex or a security deposit, I was not vacuuming. Always got to carry a condom around with you just in case, and most of the time I'm just sitting there looking stupid at you, mocking you. And even worse, I like to wear a Magnum condom. That's not me trying to insinuate I got some old big honkin' dong. Just as far as my penis is concerned, the little guy prefers a cargo pant to a skinny jean. More of like a Jinko 90s fit. And the woman I'm with will often give me a look very condescending, you know, like a little kid trying to order off the grown-up menu at a sit-down restaurant. Like, are you sure you're gonna need all that? The portions are kind of big. Something smaller and cheaper. And so I always want to be like, hey, I know that when I put it on, my penis looks like it's wearing his dad's suit for his first job interview. Like he's like, I'm here to bang my mom, I guess, but just help me out. Wow, that was too much mom sex in a row, I think. If I had to diagnose my own show. That was a lot of incest pretty quick. I think you can agree. Oh, there's a construction worker here. Hell yeah. Could you go hit the lunch truck and give me a number 3, please? Why was that fucked up? You never seen... That's how construction workers communicate. It's like white trash R2-D2. It's kind of sick. My last girlfriend had a lot of tattoos. I love sleeping with a girl with a lot of tattoos because it's kind of like peeing at a urinal where they got the newspaper posted up above. Like, oh, hey, I got some shit to read while I do this. This is nice. And when you finish, you can treat the whole body like a pinball machine. Like, oh, I'm gonna try to come on the rose on the shoulder. That's gonna be like 500 points. I think if I can get it into Morrissey's mouth, the machine gives you a free ball. I love that the AARP table is down for sex jokes the most. Because they get nostalgic. Like, oh, I remember that. And you guys are like, party? Who do you think they invented Viagra for? This beautiful boat owner right here. They knew you needed a hard dick to match all that hard equity. You think you've been fucking wet? Have you ever fucked a homeowner, ladies? I know a lot of you haven't. I'm not judging, I just know a lot of you haven't. I don't usually do this joke because it's so hacky and old hat for my generation, but for the baby boomers, for the greatest generation, I want you to go home tonight and eat some ass. The kids are away at college. The house is paid for. You're gonna die in 15 minutes from soon. What the fuck do you have to lose? It's a very short detour from your favorite watering hole, I assure you. It's not a long journey. It's just around the bend. And I understand your trepidation. Oh, but Connor, poop comes out of there. Yeah, and hot dogs are made out of cigarette butts and baby dicks, but what do you eat on 4th of July? Put it in your mouth. Be an American. Oh, but Connor, what does it taste like? Ass, dummy. What do you think it tastes like? Strawberries? This isn't a vape. It's a human asshole. The flavor is the flavor. There's no changing it. And I can tell that you've got a good woman with you tonight, and I hope you eat her ass, because every time you eat a woman's ass, it's very flattering. They're like, what, me? Really? It's not even my birthday. You shouldn't have. This is ridiculous. They always make the, like, he went to Jared face. Oh my God. And if she wants to reciprocate, I'll say this, I've had my ass eaten once or twice. It didn't necessarily feel good, but it felt interesting. Like, I felt like when I had my ass eaten, I looked like one of those deaf kids on YouTube who gets the cochlear implant so we can hear for the first time, just like... Is that my mother's voice? Girl I came here with last time, she would make fun of my blowjob sound. The sound you make when you're getting the blowjob. When your whole brain is winning the lottery. And the sound you make when you get a blowjob is kind of, they install that at the factory. Kind of is what it is, and this is not the most gangster shit to admit to a room full of people, but Connor McSpadden happens to have a pretty effeminate blowjob sound. Just sort of a, I sound like a little kid drowning, like trying to swim to the edge of the pool, like, almost there, getting close, don't stop. And she'd be down there rolling her eyes because sarcasm is super hot. We love that. And I just want to be like, lady, you're sucking all of the bass out of my voice. Okay? You're doing a good job, because all I have left is treble up here. Like, you slurped me all the way up to like, hey there, lonely girl, lonely girl. All the bass is in the back of your throat. I don't know what to tell you. I was just waiting for her to look up at me like, are you almost finished? My mouth is getting tired. Nobody knows the trouble I see. Nobody knows my sorrows. Oh, well, I gotta put a finger in your ass I don't have all day. Thank you. I will be selling Do I Gotta Put a Finger in Your Ass I Don't Have All Day bumper stickers outside. Give you guys a little sex tip before I get out of here, because I do hope that everyone gets lucky after the show. And I hate to be condescending, but it's a sex tip for the gals in the crowd. I'm not trying to say I could do your job better than you, but I've noticed that a lot of women are a little bit too optimistic about the cowgirl position. All right, some of you know what I'm talking about, but I'd reckon, I've never ridden the penis, but I'd figure, I'd imagine with my good old country horse sense that you want to hop up, keep your bounces up and down, relatively low and tight and controlled. Down in this sort of, ooh, hey, I'm riding a jet ski. Isn't this fun? I'm on the little horsey outside the grocery store. Wee. But I feel like every time I have a gal hop up there, she'll start taking like these big, adventurous swings. And I'm always like, this is a dangerous game you're playing here, lady. Because you're having 9-inch sex with a 6-inch dick right now. And then you'll feel it pop up and go airborne, disconnect. And then what do? You have to panic and try to hump back up and catch the pussy in midair like you're doing aircraft in-flight refueling over the Pacific. And I'm just like, be careful, it pops out and goes in your butt. I might do the factory reset and turn you off. Oh, I know what we got to talk about. I got fucked in the butt one time. By a girl, no less. So it's a strap-on story. Strap in, we're doing it. And let me just say this. I don't know if there are any other survivors in the room tonight. But I've told this story all over the country, in rural Arkansas and liberal New York, and most shows will have one or two stragglers come up afterwards like, hey, buddy, you're not alone. We got support groups. I'm gonna give you this brochure. There's resources available. It ain't an end, it's a new beginning. And look, I've always considered myself a heterosexual straight guy. I've tried to get into butt stuff the same way I've tried to get into Radiohead. I just don't like it. It's just not for me, but you know, it's a pretty bad relationship, and I'd do just about anything to avoid talking to her. And I knew I was in trouble when we were at the sex store, strap-on shopping, just looking at all the options, at which point I realized that they were all too big. If you've ever felt insecure about the size of your own dick, just imagine getting fucked with it. All of a sudden, you have the biggest dick that ever existed. Like, oh my God, 4 inches. What am I, Mandingo? This is excessive. Worth it to note, I was not fucking her in the butt at the time. I wasn't having anal sex on my end of the equation, and then one day she turned around like, all right, Connor, blood for blood, now it's my turn. Bend over, happy birthday to me. Just something that she wanted to do. I wanted to be a good boyfriend, so we bought the dick. Yeah, we get it back to the apartment, and it's a very weird process watching your girlfriend take off her flowery sundress and strap on her new wiener. I still vividly remember her looking at it in the full-length mirror, admiring it, like, oh shit, I can get used to this. This is nice. I see why you're so confident all the time. She's really breaking it in, doing whirly birds and stuff like that. Maneuvers she isn't qualified for. Which point, I was just sitting down in her bed, like a good boy, taking my shoes off, getting ready to be deflowered. But while I wasn't looking, this woman sidled up to me, hit me in the face with it. Have you ever heard anything so disrespectful in your goddamn life? I've had a cock 29 years. I've hit exactly goose egg fucking 0 people in their goddamn face with it. You have one 5 minutes and you're already getting kicked off the force like a dirty cop. Give me your gun and your badge. You're a menace. How about a little respect? I'm a lady. I'm a pretty lady. At this point in the proceedings, logistical issues begin to arise. I've never thought about how I would get fucked in the butt before. Fellas, I know a lot of you probably haven't crunched the numbers on that one yourselves. Ladies in the crowd, shout it out. If you're gonna fuck a guy with a strap on, what position seems the easiest to you? Sounds like you got some experience. That was fast. It's a comedy show, not Jeopardy. You don't have to buzz in first. But I like it, and I agree. I thought doggy style was a pretty reasonable way to spit in the face of God's will. But this woman wanted me to do missionary. Like me up here, I guess. And I'm like, I don't want to make eye contact. My first time, and even more, I don't want to see your weird, limp, purple dick staring down my weird, limp, purple dick. Like some kind of cat looking at itself in the mirror situation, trying to figure out if there's another dick in there. So I talk her into doggy style. I begged her, she agreed. Got down on my hands and knees, all hunkered down, waiting for her to have my t-shirt on still for modesty, I guess. And she started doing something that I have done to women before, and I think that every straight man in this room has done to a woman before, but being on the other side of it was fucking eye-opening, because she started sliding her dick in between my butt cheeks. And I was just like, oh God, this is what I've been doing to people? Oh, I am a monster. Fellas, public service, never again. That's fucking serial killer behavior, right, ladies? You have no idea what it's like when a sociopath creeps up behind you and starts hot dogging your cheeks, playing your ass like some kind of sweaty flesh cello while you're shaking and crying, and she's knocking poop crumbs loose all over the sheets, and you know she's not gonna clean them up. She's on Vicodin. It just feels like a serial killer's hook hand scraping on your car window in the night. And at this point in the proceedings, I had a very, very startling realization, which is that we had not lubricated this plastic dick. So I'm looking back at her like, hey, sweetheart, don't you think we should lube that up before you break my father's heart? And she was dick drunk with power at this point. She had no empathy. She's just back there hot dogging like, we don't have any lube. It's just gonna have to go in dry. And I'm back up here like, hey, don't want to be a diva or nothing, but I would really appreciate some lube of some kind for my virgin asshole, please. And then she said to me, all right, and this is a direct quote, well, then why don't you suck on it, Connor? So I'm sucking her dick, right? And like, this is what you broads have been complaining about for hundreds of years. I could do this with a headache. It's not hard. Frankly, I was procrastinating. Like, you know what? If it's in my mouth, it is not in my ass. Let's make this plastic dick come somehow. And then she fucked me. That's the story. Thank you so much, Tucson. Have a good night. I used to sell these stickers after my show for $1, and this is the only comedy club I've ever been to where some guy said, I don't have $1, but I'll trade you some cocaine. Good trade. There's 21-year-old Connor. He still thought he was going to be famous.